presentations. Item A, first up, Joint Travel and Tourism Board. Janessa.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Seems really loud. I'm Janessa Meredith. I'm the Executive Director of Sweetwater County Travel and Tourism, the local option lodging tax board. Thank you for allowing me some time tonight to share with you our 2021 annual report. So you should have that in your yellow bags there. Will the presentation show on the screen? Oh, sorry. I'll just talk and then we'll catch up when she's ready. So as you know, the local option lodging tax board is made up of 11 volunteer board members. 6 of them are appointed by the city of Rock Springs, 2 are appointed by the city of Green River. 1 is from Wamsutter, 1 is from Superior, and 1 is from the county commissioners. So the entire purpose of the local option lodging tax board is to administer the 4% local option lodging tax. So, and the purpose of that is to put heads in beds. So we can't build an attraction. We can't do anything physical with it. It has to be used for marketing and promotional purposes to generate hotel and campground occupancy. We'll catch up on the presentation in a minute, but you can see there on page 2, we moved into a different building in 2020. We're now on Elk Street in Rock Springs, the old Burgers Inc. building. So we actually had budgeted years ago for a mobile visitor center trailer to be on Elk Street, because obviously that's a thoroughfare that folks take to get to the national parks of Wyoming. They're on Highway 191. So we wanted to be there in that location to slow those folks down and show them what's great about Sweetwater County and encourage them to take time and explore our area. So we're really excited to be in that location. As you know, the lodging tax is voted on every 4 years. So every 4 years since 1991, the lodging tax has been on a general election ballot. It was increased from 2% to 3% in 2014. It was increased from 3% to 4% in 2018. That's the highest that the local option lodging tax can be. We were kind of behind based on our population, one of the last of the higher populated areas of the state to get to that 4%, but it's been great to be there. You probably know that in 2021, a statewide lodging tax started being collected. So this is where it gets a little bit confusing. This slide is really going to be helpful. So historically, we had that 4% local option lodging tax, and there was not a statewide lodging tax ever until 2021. It was approved in 2020. It was implemented in 2021. So now there's a statewide lodging tax that's 5%. 3% of that funds the Wyoming Office of Tourism, Diane Schober and her team. That is where the 3% goes to, is to fund the Wyoming Office of Tourism. Historically, they have been funded out of the state's general fund. So they had to lobby for their funds every year. There was not a line item in the state budget for tourism. So this is a dedicated tourism funding source. The other 2% of that 5% replaces 2 of ours. So historically, if we went on a ballot and asked for 4%, if the voters voted it down, all 4% went away. Now that 2% is secured by the legislature. It's imposed. It would have to take legislative action to change. So now we have a guaranteed 2%, and we go back to the local voters for that additional 2% to make us whole at 4%. I'll explain that more as we move into the resolution process of the campaign, but that's the long and short of it. I don't know if it'll progress or not. Oh, there we go. I hope it stops. That's the budget breakdown. So the local option lodging tax, like I said, has to be spent on marketing and promotional efforts, can't be used to build an attraction. So 79% of our budget is spent on an overall marketing campaign that I'll talk about here briefly in a minute. 7% goes to event grants, 3% to chamber block grants, 3% to the events complex block grant, and then the 8% for administration. You can see there how the lodging tax has been collected over the years. The difference in rate, I explained earlier, is reflected there. So it currently collects about $1 million. We're down about 7% due to COVID-19, but we feel like that was really, really successful, all things considered. The block grants that I mentioned for the Chambers of Commerce, we provide funding for them to provide visitor services, their staffing expenses, and they help us with brochure distribution. And then the Sweetwater Events Complex, we help them with out-of-county advertising and event recruitment. Oh, that worked. The event grants. So as you know, any event that's hosted in Sweetwater County by a nonprofit entity qualifies for lodging tax dollars up to $6,000 per event. So everything from Wyoming's Big Show, the River Festival, Flaming Gorge Days, all the sporting events, Flaming Gorge Classic, Toman Invitational, a lot of hockey events, they're all listed there. But we hold those grant hearings quarterly and consider those applications on a quarterly basis. So if you know of anybody who's hosting a new nonprofit event, point them in our direction for funding for those. We also work on international tour recruitment, so big bus tours and so on. We work with a group called Rocky Mountain International, and they represent a bunch of states in our region. So we partner with all of them to meet with international tour operators to make Rock Springs and Green River part of the itineraries that they're selling overseas. A success that we had, I probably mentioned this last year because of COVID, it had to be pushed back, but we were able to secure the 2023 and 2024 state high school 3A and 4A boys and girls soccer tournaments. That's a lot of kids, like 800 competitors and their families and the coaches and all of the folks. So that was a really big win for us in the fact that it's a really big event, but it was nice to be able to partner with the Rock Springs High School and the Green River High School athletic directors. We went and looked at all of the inventory of fields that we had. We knew that we were the ideal location to host these events and put together a really great bid that was successful. So that was a win for us. Estimated economic impact is $3 million per year from that event alone. Those are some of the committees and boards that I host and serve on, either at a state level or at a local level. Anything that aligns with tourism promotion, I'm usually involved in. The Tourism Master Plan. In 2020, we did some strategic planning to kind of figure out where we're going from here after the pandemic and what tourism looks like for Sweetwater County going forward. And this last year, we decided to create a tourism master plan. As you know, there's a great deal of funding that will become available here in the near future with the ARPA funds and so on. We wanted to make sure that we were in a position that when those funds become available, we have projects that have been vetted and planned for, that we're ready to apply in a unified way and be successful with those applications. So I'm not going to go into great detail about the master plan. I'll just tell you kind of how it was compiled, and then at a later date, I'll go into greater detail. So a ton of research went into this master plan. Every single planning document that existed in the county was considered. So everything from the city strategic plans, the county economic development, the chambers, WYDOT, Wyoming Game and Fish, Ashley National Forest, VLM, everybody. Every plan that I could think of that might exist was considered for this. So the consultant went through all of those plans and looked for common themes, common goals, common ideas, and brought together a steering committee of local leaders, some of which are in the room. So 24 local leaders, we met twice with the consultant. And then there were a bunch of surveys conducted, so both residents and visitors. So 297 residents submitted their ideas as far as, do they utilize the tourism attractions that we have here? What's the best part of it? What needs work? If we had $1 million, what should we do? $1 billion at this point? $1 million doesn't mean anything. And then we also surveyed visitors. So folks who have requested travel guides in our database. So 285 visitors completed that same survey. And these are the strategic issues that rose to the top that will be included in great detail in the tourism master plan. So the partnerships and collaborations, that obviously is the biggest goal, in the fact that if we speak with a unified voice, the municipalities, the county, all of the partnering entities, we're going to have a greater impact when we go after funding. So having those partnerships and collaborations is really a priority. And then outdoor recreation. I think we all know how impressive our outdoor recreation opportunities are, but it's nice that the residents appreciate it and realize the opportunities that we have there, and it mirrored what the visitors say. So really, really a common theme. And then attractions and amenities, indoor amenities especially. As you know, we have long winters, so having some indoor attractions would help as well. And then tourism industry infrastructure, just making sure we have support for the hospitality industry going forward. We launched our Flaming Gorge tours summer 2021. Many of you have taken that tour. We hosted almost 200 passengers over the summer, and this summer we have 28 tours already scheduled. 6 are private tours. So if any group of 20 or more wants a private tour and the date's available, we consider that. The full tour, we host 30 folks at a time, take them all the way around Flaming Gorge on a motor coach, air conditioned, lunch included, full day guided tour with Lucy Dickenswold, who is really an expert on the area and does a great job. So super excited to have more tours available this summer. Sandboarding, this is new. If you've ever been to the Great Sand Dunes National Park or any sand dune field in the country, around the world, sandboarding is a thing. I didn't realize that it was so much of a thing until I went to Colorado into the Great Sand Dunes National Park, and everybody was sandboarding. Children, young, old, men, women, everybody. Super popular. And so as you know, we don't have an ATV rental vendor available in the county. And so when folks come and they want to see the sand dunes and they didn't bring their ATVs with them, we wanted to create a way for them to experience it without having to buy an ATV if they don't have one. So this is something we are looking to rent this coming summer, $25 a day, not during the weekends. We don't want to compete with the ATV traffic. We want this to be something that's safe and enjoyed by all. So I'll give you more information as that develops. Go RVing. This was fun. The Tiffin Motor Coach Rally was hosted last summer at the events complex, and we were approached by a scout that worked for the Go RVing company, and they were looking for a location to shoot their Addams Family 2 commercial. And he had come into the visitor center and had showed me some photos of the Utah side of the Flaming Gorge where they were looking to shoot this, film this, and I enlightened them about another area that might be just as attractive, if not more so. So we were able to have this shot at Firehole Canyon, and I'm hoping she can show you the YouTube video. This isn't the commercial, it's just the YouTube version of it. If not, it's okay. I can send out a link via email. I'll do that. Yep, I'll send you a link. A lot of people have seen it. It's on our social media channels and such, but I'll send an email out tomorrow so you can see that again. It's really cool, really impressive. It was filmed right there at that swim beach next to the campground. So ideal location. The Flaming Gorge Scenic Byway. As many of you know, we were able to submit an application to gain the designation of an all-American road on the Wyoming side of that byway. A lot of folks kind of asked, why does that matter? Why does it matter to be designated as an all-American road? And it matters because it qualifies us for Federal Highway Administration funds. So the Utah side is designated as a national scenic byway. So there's state, national, all-American road. And being a national or all-American road qualifies you for that funding. So they applied with one application for 13 turnouts in 2001 or 2003 and had $3 million worth of turnouts built with that one application from the Federal Highway Administration. So We now qualify for that same funding. It isn't funded at the same level right this minute, but it does put us in a good position to be able to apply in the future. So we did a ribbon cutting for it this past summer, which was really well attended. And then we also had KU TV2 News cover it as well. And I'll show you a clip from that. No dice. Okay. I'll send you a link for that as well. It's just an interview with myself and Lucy on the bus promoting the Flaming Gorge Tours and the All-American Road designation as well. This is our travel guide and our dining guide. A lot of folks locally see these two pieces. They're shipped out. We send out over 20,000 travel guides physically a year, almost 46,000 digitally a year. The dining guide we use in market to promote kind of the local favorites. That's something we were able to do recently with CARES Act funding. And then these are a lot of the advertisements. Locals don't see these oftentimes unless they follow us on social media. We're obviously targeting folks outside of the area to generate visitation. So that's some of our billboards, our web advertisements, digital, social, our e-newsletter, and so on. This is our 2-minute commercial. Oh, I hope it plays. Dang it. No dice. Okay. It's really cool. I'll show it to you. We only shoot video every 2 to 3 years. So we actually used the same videographer that we used 3 years ago. So we had some old footage that he could incorporate with new, just the new camera technology, the drone footage. It's really, really impressive. So I'll send you that link as well. And then we spend a lot of money to generate visitation to the area. And we want to make sure that when they visitors arrive in Sweetwater County, they have a really good experience on the front line. So we want to make sure that the hotel employees, the restaurant employees, the retail employees who are providing really high quality customer service are recognized for their efforts. So we host what's called the REACH Awards. It stands for Rare and Exceptional Achievement for Customer Service and Hospitality. We've been doing that since 2008. They are just tickled pink to receive these awards. And we want to make sure that they know how important they are to the tourism industry. We also started a customer service program. It's called the Sweetwater County Certified Tourism Ambassador Program. So it's 2 parts. Anybody who signs up for it, you learn about the area. So all of the attractions, the amenities, what makes this place special, historic facts, and so on. So that when they engage with a visitor, they have all that information ready. And then we also teach them just how to provide really high quality customer service. It's a $39 program. And we have certified 72 folks locally to date. So we have 72 local certified tourism ambassadors, and we meet with them monthly. It's a really great group. And then we want to make sure that all of the money spent on marketing is actually generating return on investment to the local economy. So we've never spent so much on research as we have in the last 2 years. We've had more money with CARES Act funding. So we used to measure the effectiveness of the travel guide. All we did was say, if you received a travel guide, did you come to our area? Did you spend money? How much? All those things. Now we are able to conduct research with a firm called SMARI, Strategic Market Research Incorporated. This is just based on our advertising alone. We measured everything: digital, out of home, print, social, everything. And we know that based on our advertising alone, it influenced almost $102 million in visitor spending. That was over 74,000 visits. The average party size was 2.8 people staying in our area, 3.1 days, engaging in 4.2 activities. And for every $1 we spent on marketing to get them to come here, they spent $454 in our market. So really proud of those, really excited to be able to measure all of our marketing efforts. As you can see, tourism is big business in Sweetwater County. A lot of folks don't get to see it so up close and don't realize how much of an impact it has, but I'm really honored to be a part of it as always, and really appreciate all of your support and would take any questions if you had them.
Does anybody have any questions or comments for Vanessa? Sorry, that's my sister-in-law.
When you send the stuff out, could you send some information on the cost of the tour bus if it was a private tour?
You have a brochure in there.
Perfect.
Yep, that rate is for if you book on TripAdvisor, but I will email out the rates for private tours.
Perfect.
As well.
Any other comments? Jim?
Great job. Great job, Vanessa. Impressive numbers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I wish I could show the videos, but I'll email them out too. For sure.
As always, thanks for keeping Wyoming on the map, and
Thank you. I'm really passionate about it, so it's
absolutely
my pleasure.
Yeah, excellent job, Vanessa.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
I appreciate it.
Okay, next up, speaking about turn core and the specific purpose tax is County Commissioner Lauren Shanefield.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So tonight I'm here to just give a brief overview of where we've come so far with the proposed specific purpose tax. Talk just a little bit about the turn core, what their plan is moving forward, and then answer any questions if you have any. So as most of you know, we have been having conversations about specific purpose tax for a number of years. We actually had a proposal ready to go on the ballot about, it was 2.5 years ago. And we just made the decision to pull that just due to COVID and not knowing what was going to happen with the economy. Everything was just very uncertain at that time. So as you also know, I'm sure 90% or more of those projects have not been completed across the entire county. I still have that list and I've sent it out, to kind of update numbers because costs have obviously gone up. But we have continued the conversations throughout this time. And then recently we have reconvened our committee, and that consists of a group from each different municipality in the county across our county. And so Councilman Kilpack represents Green River on that. And we've had some very good in-depth conversations about the future, concerns about the potential impact of the general purpose tax, and concerns on how that would look for moving forward with the specific purpose tax. We've had a lot of conversations around different projects, and we all know unitedly that there is a huge need in our community. And if nothing else, the impact of COVID has made that even greater. We're all struggling. And I was actually talking to Councilman Kilpack earlier, and our small communities are struggling even more than Rock Springs and Green River. They're unable to do any additional things. And I fear that as the decline in oil and gas and our coal industry and how everything changes, we don't know exactly what that's going to look like, but there could be the potential that they don't even remain in existence if they can't improve sewer, water, basic infrastructure for the communities. And we want to make sure that that's not going to happen. So we obviously have that base list of proposals that we had looked at before. And we have engaged with a company called TurnCore. The commission did vote at the last commission meeting, and I'm sure you've seen in the news, there were some Sweetwater Now articles, thank you, that came out. And then we also did a joint press release that I'm not sure if you guys had seen before, but it was also pushed out as well. And so really we've engaged TurnCore because this is what they do well. We want to ensure that we can work through the concerns that the community may have that may link general purpose with specific purpose. We want to make sure that everybody has the information that they need. We also want to ensure that we are getting the right information. We've engaged TurnCore to do some polling and some statistics and things like that throughout our community to ensure that we are looking at the right projects, that our community is supportive of the projects that we're looking at, and that those are what people really want to truly see before we put it on the ballot and make those decisions. We also really feel like it's important. One thing that I feel we've failed at miserably with the general purpose tax is really engaging our community, listening to what our voters are asking for, and moving forward with that in the direction that they want to see. And so really engaging. We have a list for a stakeholder group. We have not started that yet. So TurnCore will, we have a meeting on Thursday, this Thursday, and it will be over at the Commissioner's Chamber. And we are going to be asking for proposals to be brought forward on any projects. They don't have to be full proposals. We just want to get a good idea of some basic projects that are potentially outside of the list that we already have, and get some ideas about what our community needs are. After that, we will get back together as the committee, and then we will also engage a stakeholder group. So we're having everybody, I've had everybody from I've asked Janessa to be a part of that. We also have Devin Brubaker that's involved in that. Different people throughout our community, they're actively involved in things. I have a list that's been sent to me from a number of people. And then we also have some folks that have asked to be involved. I had a couple of people from some different groups that opposed the general purpose tax, and they asked to be involved in the process moving forward. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what those community members say and what their thoughts are and how we can move forward. I believe that we'll probably have multiple meetings with them and really look at how we want to move forward with projects, with how we would look at potential ballot options. So there's different options where I know before we set a cap and then everybody kind of picked their top projects. There's also an option that was very successful in Cheyenne in Laramie County recently. And that was a menu option. And so that would allow to package potential, all sewer projects for all municipalities and all water projects for all municipalities. And then maybe, if there's a big project that a certain entity wants to put out, and I'm not saying a community or a municipality, but maybe the events complex, if they have a big project, and we can put that on there as well and allow the public the ultimate option of what choices they want, with items moving forward. Those are just some of the options that we're looking at. And I think one of the big things that I want to share as well is that there haven't really been any decisions. The only decision that we've made as a group so far is that we're all willing to work through this. We all want to make it successful. We realize that we do need to make sure that the public has input and can, be involved in this process as much as possible. And that we're going to be relying on all of our councils and all of our community members to work through the process and to really come up with a good proposal that, will hopefully be successful. And we probably know that maybe not all of them will go through, but that's okay. I think anything that we can do infrastructure wise for our communities right now is a huge win for us. And I don't know. Can I have you just go? What? Yeah, that's what I'm. Okay, you can go to the next one. Thank you. So this was the presentation that TurnCore presented to us. I'm not sure if it was shared with you. So they are out of Colorado. They work through these policies and projects as well. They really focus on communication and engagement throughout communities, and then ensuring that we get everybody involved to come up with a successful outcome. Next, please. So this is some of the options, some of the things that they do. I'm not going to read through all of them. This is a busy slide. But in some of this research and strategy, we have engaged them to do a poll. We did not do the scientific polling because it's quite a bit more expensive. But that matched with the travel and tourism master plan, as well as a few other things. They spent a considerable amount of money on that as well. And Janessa has shared that with us, which is a great idea. We might as well take what we've already got and move forward with that as well. So we will have some results results from some polling. We will have some stakeholder engagement results as well, so that we have some background on how we should move forward. Some of the next steps is outreach and communication. Currently, they assisted in pushing out and putting together the press release, the joint press release, and we'll continue that throughout the project. We want to ensure that our public is well informed, that they know what we're talking about, they know what we're doing, they know when meetings are coming up, and they feel like they're involved in the process, and they have opportunities to show up in different locations, in person or in Zoom, whatever works best, and give their input. And so from that, can you go to the next one, please? And one more. Maybe. It's being finicky. I didn't have any videos though, so that's good. Okay, so these are the items that we engaged with them for this initial process. The estimated total, I believe the motion that was approved was under $20,000, not more than $20,000. And that did include the non-scientific tool. And then there was, some additional just content helping get the information out to our communities so that we can gauge where we are and also start the conversations. So this is just for the beginning section or the beginning portion of this process. After we've had the opportunity to receive the polls back, have some stakeholder meetings, get some input, then we can look at how we want to move forward as a group and throughout all of our communities to either engage or, whatever we decide we want to do. And so at that point, if we want to bring TurnCore in to talk about next processes or next steps, or I can come back, I'm more than happy to do that. But I think I've covered everything that I needed to. Do you guys have any questions?
Mayor, I have a comment.
Okay, let me just ask something first, just to make sure. You mentioned something about bonding. Remind you about that.
Yeah.
Was that for now, or is that for future discussion?
Yes, thank you for reminding me. So some of the future discussions after projects are really looked at and kind of decided. We will look at bonding and what that looks like for each community. Stiefel has also been engaged in the conversations, and they are a bonding company that works closely with TurnCore that we also had engaged the last conversations. And so he's very actively involved in our committee conversations. He knows kind of a background of what's going on in our community. And so there's a potential that we will be having those conversations with him as well, and then having the bonding conversations with each municipality. We also then will look at how we want things to go on a ballot and what we want that to look at like. And then obviously the votes that at least 50% of all of the municipalities will have to decide on what we want that to look like. And I'm hopeful that we can get 100% as well on that. I mean, we've had 100% agreement that we're going to participate and move forward with this. And so I think especially with the process that we're looking at and the public engagement, we should be successful with that. So those are in the future, but they're definitely conversations that we're going to need to have soon.
Okay. Go ahead, Councilman Kilpack.
I just wanted to make just a couple comments for the council so they can understand a couple things that I've observed and viewed. Number one is Lauren's given us very good leadership in this process and has really been positive in helping us at the beginning and moving forward. And I want to thank you for that. And then the other thing that was a real concern of mine and Lauren and the rest of the committee was positive on this, and that was that we had a committee that was very positive for this project, that no one on our committee had bad blood. And so as the committee was tweaked and put together, every person on the committee that's working with the county, they are very positive and really see the need and hope that it goes forward. And so that's been really good. And then the last thing that I don't know if you might be thinking in your mind, the question, and correct me if I'm wrong on this one, Lauren, is that money for this private group that they've hired, the county has agreed to pay for that.
Yes.
And so it's not a cost to us as a city, but it is important for us as a council to be positive and to support and to help this project forward, because this 6 penny is really, really needed. And so that's what I've observed, and I've been really happy to work with them, and that things is working out in a real positive way. And so thank you. And that's all I have.
Anybody else on the council have a comment? Councilwoman Bushman.
All right. Yeah, no, I want to echo what Kilpack was saying, that you have done tremendous work on this. I know you work very hard and tirelessly, but I do have a question. Because I noticed that the advertisement will be mostly at a higher level, like the social media, newspapers, those type of things, not a residential level. So yeah, because I know that's costly. Will you be attending, not you per se, but be at events that are coming up throughout, that's going to, the River Festival, Flaming Gorge, at the event center and stuff like that?
Those have been discussed.
Okay.
There hasn't really been any decision around that, just because we haven't quite gotten there yet. But we will be doing engagement. We've talked about mailers. We've talked about, doing different community events. I think the fair is always a great place to go and just allow for people to ask questions and see what the options are, and, to really have those face-to-face conversations. And then Janessa and I were just speaking about this as well, like really having in-person conversations, in-person meetings, in-person conversations, having the opportunity to sit down and talk to people about, what we're looking at for and why. There was a lot of rift over the general purpose tax, and a lot of confusion around, what we were trying to do. We did not do a good job of educating or informing. And so I think that those conversations absolutely must happen. And I think that as long as we can have enough people involved, that it's not just one person led, that it's everybody. And I think that Councilman Kilpack makes a great point in that we need to have a unified voice across everybody. Everybody's going to have FAQs. They're going to have the information. We're going to share that with all of our councils, all of our commissioners. Obviously, we can't control if there's a commissioner or council person that has a concern about one project or another. That's not really, the issue. It's more just ensuring that everybody has the same information. So if you're asked the same question I am, we can give the right answer. And there's not public confusion around that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, because I do get peppered when I'm doing honor guard or something.
Yeah.
And like, hey, no, here's the answers, right? So I know going to different organizations will definitely help. But I know I'm supportive of it personally, because but I do like to have having the projects listed out, so it's the voter's choice, and it's their choice to tax themselves. So
Right. 100%.
absolutely. So, good job.
Thanks.
Anyone else? I'll just be kind of repetitive, but first off, we really appreciate your leadership. You've done a great job so far, and I'm sure you're going to continue to do that. And I think the experience that you've had from the past is going to be a good, we learned a lot from that. Everybody did. And I think that again, just from what two people just said, it's absolutely important that we work together as a team, all of the entities in the county. And I think most importantly, it's important to upfront get the input of the citizens and get their involvement in the process and get them feeling that they absolutely have a meaningful role in developing this whole situation. And I think that's a good path to begin with. And I appreciate all your efforts. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Lauren.
Have a good night, guys. And
Okay.
feel free to contact me if you guys have anything that comes up that you have questions about.
Okay, item 5 is citizen requests and other communications. Are there any citizens in the audience that would like to address the council that aren't on the agenda? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to open a public hearing for liquor license renewals. Renewal applications were due on December 31st, 2021. The public hearing was advertised in the Green River Star on January 27th, 2022 and February 3rd, 2022. And a public notice was posted at each establishment's premises. The renewals will be for April 1st, 2022 to March 31st, 2023. Is there anybody that wants to address the council on this public hearing? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing. Okay, item 7 is an executive session. The item reads to executive session to discuss possible litigations. I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor,
Councilman Kilpack.
I move to adjourn to an executive session to discuss possible litigation.
Second.
Okay, it's moved and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. We're adjourned. And we'll be back. Hopefully. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to reconvene.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Zimmerman, seconded by Councilman Berg to reconvene to regular session. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Okay, I'll entertain a motion. Councilman Berg.
I move to combine council action items A through V and approve the renewal of the city's liquor licenses as presented for the respective businesses for the period of April 1st, 2022 through March 31st, 2023, pending legal and state approval.
Second.
Okay, it's been-
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I added the wrong letter in there. Can we go through instead of A through V, A through W, please?
Okay, so the go ahead.
I'll make an amendment to the motion that it's A through W.
Second.
Okay, so we're going to have to vote on the amendment and then we're going to have to go back and vote on the original one if we do it this way. So all in favor of the amendment as stated, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Let's go back to the original motion, which is, go ahead, Councilman.
Does it need
Actually-
restated?
Yeah.
You
you've
just
already
need to-
got it.
just need to
Motion
revote
and a
on it.
Second.
Yes. Just need
Okay,
a second.
Let's vote on the, all in favor of the, or is there any, just any further? I think we already had a second. Yeah. Is there any further discussion on this? Okay. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. It's unanimous. So we just approved all of the liquor permits that were being applied for as a group. So where does that put us?
To the consent agenda.
Mayor, that's page 10 for you.
What's that, Chris?
It's page 10 is where you'll start next. On the consent agenda.
I believe we're on item D, are we not? I don't have page numbers.
No.
One page?
After W is the consent agenda.
Oh, back one more page, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, pardon me, I didn't see that. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Mayor,
Councilman Shuttron.
I make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Shuttron, seconded by Councilman Bushman. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Mr. Acting City Administrator.
Mr. Mayor and Council, I think you guys have probably heard enough of me tonight. So with that, I'll say Reed sent, hopefully he sent you the same pictures he sent me so you can feel a little upset with him and we'll go from there.
Did you guys see those pictures? The golf course, $250,000 if you want to join. Yeah. Mr. City Attorney, do you have anything for us, Galen?
I have no report tonight.
All right,
Your Honor.
thank you, Galen. Okay, we'll start at your end, Gary.
I'm not joining the golf course. I have nothing tonight.
Okay. Councilman Jost. Okay. Councilwoman Bushman.
Thank you. I just wanted to let you know, I actually was joining on the call on the February 9th, the Natrium project. And I did pose the question about if the Cameron local area is not going to have housing, are they going to expand out to the surrounding areas? And of course, they said yes, and I'm sure they're going to, have transportation. I just wanted to pose that and let you guys know that I was part of that call. And then also, Brad, I did sign up for the run, but I just wanted the shirt. So that's all. Thank you.
Very good. Councilman Shuttron.
I have no report this evening.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Berg.
No reports tonight.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Zimmerman.
No report tonight. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, and I just want to say that I think you guys are all aware, but the Wyoming Association of Municipalities Winter Conference is in Cheyenne, February 23rd and 25th through the 25th. So that's Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday next week. Anybody that wants to go can go. There are 2 rooms reserved. You should have gotten a copy of the agenda. I'm going to go because I'm on the board. So I kind of have to go. Otherwise, just quite frankly, in this day and age of COVID, I wouldn't go, but I will go. And it is an opportunity. It's always a good opportunity to get down to the legislature. It's down
Network.
to the governor's office and the Secretary of State's office and a couple of the other main ones, just to let them know the greater version. I'll do that. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mayor,
Councilman Chetron.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Okay, it's moved by Councilman Chetron, seconded by Councilman Berg. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you, council.